Coming to you from the depths of the galaxy, bringing you hot takes, hot news, and spicy discussions about games. We are the Uneducated Gamers! This episode is brought to you by GalaxyGameTV.com and Shipping Shield, creator of the cardboard top loader alternative, environmentally safe shipping card protection made in the USA. Go to ShippingShieldUS.com for more details. What's up, gamers? This is the Uneducated Gamers Podcast, and I'm Chris.
And I'm Michael.
And today we have a massive episode to talk about the Xbox Showcase. It killed the show big time with multiple announcements. My phone, my watch, Mike, I was wearing my watch during it, and it was like, bzz, bzz, bzz. It was like so many things announced. And so many things. We're going to have to, we're going to skip everything. We're going to just dive right into it.
Yeah, we don't have time for quick bits or anything like that today. There's too much to talk about. We already are going to have to split this into a two-parter.
And we still have Summer of Games. Summer of Games might end up being just a massive 6-episode ring of talking about games.
We did when it was Yumi and Joe. We did Summer of Games. It was like a 3.5-hour episode, wasn't it?
It was, and we didn't hit everything. We just scratched the surface.
Here's what the Devolver did. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, right. Oh man, but before we get into really diving into some of the major high points, I think one of the things we should probably do is let's pull in some of those little bits, right? Little bits, and bring out some honorable mentions that we just want to dip our toe in the water and discuss briefly. Yeah. This is going to go a little bit different than the Sony one. The Sony one we went front to back, top to bottom, and it was fine. With this one, we're going to have to be a little more choosy. So we've got a handful. This is our quote-unquote quick bits here. We've got a handful of stuff from the Xbox Showcase that we just want to service level cover, and then we're going to go a little deeper into the more important ones. Not more important ones, the ones that we chose as our favorites. All right, so our honorable mentions.
Payday 3. Payday 3 is coming out.
It's kind of funny because we were just talking about with the Sony the Sony one where what was the name of that game now? We were like, oh,
it was not Foam
similar.
Stars.
No, it was not Foam Stars. Oh, what is the name of the game? Anyways,
it was a two-sided team heist game with superpowers. I don't remember the name all of a sudden. But we compared it to Payday, and then lo and behold, Xbox Showcase shows off Payday 3. And it looks great. I don't know how much it's going to add over Payday 2. They didn't show us a whole lot. But I like Payday. Payday's cool.
The one from the PlayStation Showcase, Fair Games.
Fair Games.
Yeah, I think so. And I even think I mentioned in that episode, right? I feel like we need something that's a refresh of the Payday series, or genre, I should say, those type of heist kind of games, and that's why Fair Games kind of looked interesting. But I'm not gonna lie, Payday 3 looks interesting to me. I'm certainly going to check it out, and why not? Since that game is gonna be day one Game Pass.
That's gonna be a running theme of this episode. Lots and lots of these games are available day one on Game Pass.
Yeah, but even without that, to kind of leave with this is, I thought it was very interesting and a very very reasonably priced game. So Payday is going to be $39.99, which I think is, in this day and age of games, I think is quite reasonably priced.
It's a fantastic price for Payday 3.
Yeah.
Next on the honorable mentions, Sea of Thieves getting a Monkey Island crossover DLC.
This
A
is
match
sick.
made in heaven, in my opinion.
This is sick. Like, this is going to get me to play Sea of Thieves again. Like, go out there and actually play it. Because
I never played it the first time around, but I would enjoy seeing gameplay of this DLC.
I'm a huge fan of The Legend of Monkey Island. Like I've like ever since like years ago when Lucasfilms first did this, or Lucas Games, Lucas Games, put this game out. So yeah, I mean I think it's pretty exciting. July 20th, so it's right around my birthday, so it'll be fun.
There you go.
Maybe you know what? Maybe I'll boot it up. You guys can check it out. You can check it out a little bit while you're here for the birthday bash.
Sure. 33 Immortals was another one I wanted to talk about. Didn't really stand out to me at first when I started watching the trailer. Kind of a 2D adventure slasher kind of thing. And then all of a sudden the title card comes up that says 33 player co-op. And I went, what?
I think it's interesting. I'm not gonna lie. To play with 33 screaming people on the other end does not like feel absolutely great to me. But at the same time, I don't think this game is marketing to me, and that's fine. It's not a game that I don't think I'm gonna be interested in. I mean, I'll watch others play it, but maybe it'll be cool. I don't know. We'll see.
Metaphor Refantasio. Now, this game doesn't necessarily look like my cup of tea, but I think it's a big deal because it is a brand new IP from the developers of the Persona series.
Yes, and will be one of the things, and that's not on our honorable mentions, but I'll roll into this really quick just to give it a plug.
Oh, yeah.
Persona 3 and Persona 5, Persona 3 Remake and Persona 5 Tactics will be coming to Xbox Game Pass, which I think is, I'm going to be honest, that's pretty cool. So the theme here with, Metaphor, right, being this like, the developer itself of this game in Atlas, really making an effort to bring some of these games to Xbox. I think it's great.
It's really cool. I have a friend of mine who really, really enjoys the Persona series. I haven't given it a try yet. It's another one of those that's Final Fantasy, where I'm like, oh, this dialogue is just so awful. I can't get past it. But the gameplay itself is fun. The soundtrack is complete banger, and the visuals are great. So I'll get there eventually. I'll give those a try, and I'm excited to see what else they can do other than Persona.
Yeah, I agree. I've been playing Persona for some time. I actually, I have Persona 5 on PlayStation 4. Yeah, no 5, no 4. Well, whichever. I play it on the 5. I don't know which version it is, but anyways, it's a good game. Like it's I think it's a niche of a market kind of game where not everybody likes these kinds of games. It's almost like, if you've ever seen Catherine. I didn't know if I was going to like Catherine, but then I really liked Catherine.
It's a heavily anime-styled game with turn-based combat, and both of those are niche things.
Yeah.
I like turn-based combat.
I agree. Yeah, same here.
The last game on our honorable mentions was the Japanese-inspired, gorgeous-looking, I'm sorry for my terrible pronunciation, Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess.
Yeah, I mean, I think this game, it's funny because I feel like this is one of those games that is sort of riding under the radar, because it's kind of one of those niche market kind of games. Granted, we just saw a trailer, so there's really not much of the game per se, but the aesthetic that it's protruding and the idea of what the story that it's trying to tell, plus it's Capcom. Like, Capcom has just been knocking it out of the park lately.
Yeah.
So I just feel like this has This has sleeper material of being one of those really, really good sleeper hits.
This looks really good to me. I'm not even gonna call it a sleeper. This just looks great. Is this a Xbox exclusive? Do we know?
I do not believe so. I don't believe this is going to be an Xbox exclusive.
Excellent.
But I do think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm double checking the list here, and no, it's not on the list. I was wondering if this one was coming out on Game Pass, but it's not. But no, I mean, I don't. As far as I'm aware, I don't believe that this is a exclusive. I just think this was just a premiere with in partnership with Xbox, and I'm double checking now.
The combat and the game engine kind of reminded me of Fable. I know the direction, the art direction was wildly different, but it did have a lot of that Fable style fighting to me. It looked like.
Yeah, I mean it's really on brand with what Capcom generally puts out, right? And has been putting out recently. And yes, Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess is also coming to PS5 and Steam.
Excellent. I will be wishlisting that.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
Speaking of Fable,
yes.
What is this that they are doing?
Yes. Tell me more, tell me more. So, Fable, first off, it's just obviously it's yet another trailer, right?
A trailer featuring the wonderful Richard sorry, again, pronunciation. Richard Iode, the guy from the IT crowd.
Yep. Wait,
Very excited to see him.
Did we actually get gameplay? No, we didn't get gameplay, right? We just got...
No, it was just a cinematic trailer. Well, there might have been a little bit of pre-rendered stuff towards the end, but I think it was mostly cinematic.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain you're correct. Yeah. I'm skimming through this now. It was virtually just a cinematic kind of story trailer. But again, true to Fable's style, I think the story is on par of what I would expect. I do wish we would have saw something. I mean, Fable has been in the works and has been first essentially announced, 2 years ago, right? So I would have thought at least by now we would see a little bit of something, but I'm not going to knock on it. I'm just excited that we're finally getting some more information on the story and kind of what's going on with this particular game. It's still alive, as we could tell. And not to mention, again, you mentioned this in our preview here in the beginning. Day one Game Pass.
Day one Game Pass.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for it.
They definitely had to do something big, because Fable 3 was kind of a letdown and compared to Fable 2, and it's been a long time since Fable has been hugely relevant in the gaming space.
We've been waiting a long time. I think it's
a long time.
I think it's been about a decade at least.
It might be. So I think that's kind of why they're taking their sweet time with this, because it has to be good. If this isn't good, that franchise is basically dead. That's fair.
I think they sort of were towing that line with oh my god, the first person shooter. Why am I blanking?
First person shooter.
The Xbox version of Call of Duty. Why am I blanking on this? Master Chief.
Halo,
thank you. Like they almost towed that line with Halo and almost screwed that up big time.
Infinite had a lot to live up to, yeah.
So, but I think they have made people happy at this point with the game. I think it's a good enough game, but I don't think it's what everybody wanted. And I think you're right. I think Fable is another one of those that they're probably trying to be as cautious as they can.
They have an interesting setup here. So they've got the Richard the IT crowd guy as the giant in the beanstalk, who's like some big bastion of agricultural science, poo-pooing on the old way of heroes and magic because it doesn't fit with quote-unquote modern times. It's kind of a like Pompoko industrialization of Japan type story.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see where they take this. I think the humor is also very Fable-like, so I feel like they're staying true to the source material. And all I care about is the next time that we see this game, that we start seeing some gameplay. I think if the next time we hear about this game, we don't start seeing gameplay, I think some people are going to get a little restless.
South of Midnight, a new game by the same developers that made We Happy Few a few years ago. This was interesting.
Yeah, and it's actually the first game since Xbox, acquired this studio, right? The aesthetic, the feel, the kind of, and again, this is yet another trailer, but I'm really interested to see exactly what this game is about.
Oh because... yeah, the whole Louisiana Bayou, dark voodoo thing.
Yeah. And not to mention, yet again, day one on Game Pass.
Is that going to become the normal going forward?
I think any of their studio games probably. I think it's fine. But it's also very surprising to me that there's so many of them. There's 19. I mean, we're going to get to many of them, but there's 19 in the entire showcase that are going to Game Pass day one.
I'm telling you, Microsoft owns a lot of studios.
Yeah. I mean, what's your impression of South of Midnight? Like, do you feel? I feel like this is going to be one of those very obscure, like magic adventure kind of games. I could be wrong, but
they didn't give us any gameplay. I have no idea what to expect from this. I know it's beautiful. I know it's got great sound design. It's got great voice acting. It's the atmosphere is perfectly crafted. I'm genuinely interested in what's going on here, but I don't know what to expect from a gameplay perspective.
So
it's humorous and creepy and everything I love.
Yeah, so the game is set in a version of the modern world that you travel through will most likely be exclusively rural, reflecting places in between major urban areas and a sense of wonder and danger they can hold. It springs from the concept that monsters are real. You need to just jump over the backyard fence, kind of thing. This is very interesting, like, description that they have here on the Xbox website.
Yeah, it's very Robert Johnson went down to the crossroads kind of vibe.
So it's saying the world will take influences from two key genres of literature and movies that are less seen in games. Magic realism is one of the calling cards of Southern Gothic.
Makes sense.
This is, I mean, the way it reads, it just screams very, very interesting. Like, is this a new, like, is this like an urban Soul Reaver?
I don't know if I know what Soul Reaver is.
Oh, you've never played. Oh,
I've not played Soul Reaver.
I have to introduce you to Soul Reaver.
So many
Um,
games, so little time. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, is that what you're talking about?
yep, yep. This is a classic. It's absolute classic game.
Oh,
Put
it's an
up.
Eidos game.
It's put out by Crystal Dynamics. Such a good game. Yeah, so I think more to come on this one as things evolve. I think it's the feel just, and I like the art style of the trailer, so I'm hoping that art style like comes through in the game as well. So we'll see.
Now a game that I know a lot of people are probably going to be very excited about, Star Wars Outlaws. An open world Star Wars adventure.
Yes. So I am optimistically, very optimistically excited about this. I think one of the things that screamed out to me in this trailer compared to any other Star Wars game trailer that we saw that was, a canceled game previously, is how dark it is and how gritty that they're portraying, kind of, this new scoundrel kind of, character within this universe.
What I'm worried about is they're gonna mess up the tone. So clearly they're trying to do just a like a grounded story featuring a nobody bounty hunter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's definitely interesting. I think there's a lot of stories you can tell in the Star Wars universe that are basically see the larger conflicts of the Empire and the Rebels from like an on the ground perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what the story wants to be. And then they started showing big space battles, and I'm like, oof. Don't turn the main character into a clone of Han Solo. That's not what I want to see. I want to see the Star Wars from a different perspective. That's what I want this game to be.
Well, I think that the star battles are iconic to this type of character, right? But the way that I read the story, I don't feel like it is I mean, I think you are commuting across the galaxy, right? It's Star Wars. You're going to be commuting, right? But like, if I read this right, the tagline for this game is experience the first ever open world Star Wars game set between the events of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Explore distinct planets, so you're going to be flying across the galaxy, both iconic and new. Risk it all as Kay Vess, a scoundrel seeking freedom and the means to start a new life along with her companion Nyx. Fight, steal, and outwit your way through the galaxy's crime syndicates as you join the galaxy's most wanted. So, I think you are gonna have to be... I mean, it is kind of taking and borrowing from, say, the Han Solo kind of esque story, but it's also, putting itself in that time period of the timeline as well. So I do feel like, I don't know. I feel like that's okay if that's a thing. Like, think about it this way, right? Like, as a character like Han Solo, they're smugglers, right? And so you're gonna have to have some sort of space battles of some sort to kind of transport goods and do these kind of deals.
Getting through embargo barricades and whatever. Yeah. I just don't want to see scruffy young smuggler turned war hero Because it's been done. Like, don't make a game if you're not going to do something unique and interesting with it.
Fair enough. And I think that is a very fair judgment and a very fair perspective, because I think they can and have fallen in that trap. But with Ubisoft being at the helm of this, in partnership with Lucas, I'm hoping that it has a little bit more depth to it. So we'll see.
I would like to see Ubisoft put the same level of love and care into historical. We'll say historical in this case because it's a fictional universe. But I want to see Ubisoft put their historical world crafting skills that they get from like Assassin's Creed or whatever into Star Wars. I want to see them read a whole bunch of extended universe novels, and I want to see interactions with like weird like one-off characters, and and I want to see pod racing.
What I don't want to see, yeah, well, I don't think we'll see pod racing in this
Smugglers, crime syndicates, Tatooine, pod racing.
Maybe. All right, maybe. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see a reskinned Assassin's Creed Star Wars game.
No,
much
I
like
don't.
Much like what we got with Battlefront, when EA did Battlefront, right? And it was basically a reskinned Battlefield game with Star Wars characters. Now, the environments were cool. Don't get me wrong. Like, I really liked the environments they had in there. But the mechanics of the game was like literally as playing Battlefield with Star Wars characters. I don't want that for this game to be like
I want
Assassin's
to see
Creed.
that Ubisoft influence. I
Yeah.
don't want it to be a reskin.
Yes, I agree.
Yep.
I really, really hope so. I really, really hope we start seeing gameplay in these next 6 or so months, because I want this. I really want this game. I really, really, really want this game to be good.
It has potential. It has potential to be really good. The best stuff from Star Wars and the best stuff from Ubisoft together is fantastic. But Star Wars as a franchise and Ubisoft as a game developer has had a history of some pretty poor misses in the last decade. So it could just as easily be real bad.
Fair enough. The part that I'm excited about, though, is it's massive entertainment that's doing this game in partnership with Ubisoft, and massive entertainment does have a good track record, in my opinion. You know, they did good with the Division. So they
I thought the Division was bad. Wasn't that a bad game?
Oh no, not at all. Like the Division, hell, there's people that still play. Like the Division servers are still online. People still play Division.
Interesting.
Like I was just actually on the Division 1 about 2-3 weeks ago, and easily found 20-30 people to play with online.
I didn't like the Division personally, but it's an MMO style game, and I do not find any enjoyment in MMOs. So
Fair enough.
There's that.
So I think the open world part of it, if they have that translation of the Division in how they do the open world MMO combat in the Division, I think we're optimistically hopeful that we're going to have a really good game in front of us.
You know, I think that would work. That would work well for us. The Division style gameplay would work well for a Star Wars game.
Yeah.
Small squad based gun missions.
Yeah. Now,
with Ubisoft's attention to landscape detail. Okay.
The part I'm curious about is Massive has never done anything in like the space travel.
Well,
you know, like,
that's not true because they're working on an Avatar movie, Frontiers of Pandora, and they're hiring.
Not gonna touch that one with a 10-foot pole. But we'll see. I think I know some of the people that are working on this, right, have come from the has come from where did my brain just go? I'm sorry. The Activision side of the house. So Activision was really originally the owner of Massive until they sold Massive to Ubisoft.
Sure.
But some of the good like developers, not developers, excuse me, the form, like for instance, some of the people who were part of those Activision games are working, actually they moved over to Massive Entertainment before they got sold. So I guess what I'm saying is they have some good talent over there. I don't know why they're doing an Avatar game, but I'm happy that they're doing a Star Wars
They're doing an Avatar game because they're a small, young studio and they need money.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Just focus on Star Wars Outlaws.
But yeah, no, this Star Wars Outlaws has the potential to be really, really good if it's handled well.
Yeah.
If it's not handled well, it has the potential to be really...
I would agree.
Yep. Next up, Persona 3 Remake and Persona 5 Tactics.
Day 1 Game Pass.
Day 1. Now, these are both games that I believe already exist. They're just coming to Xbox, right?
No, so Persona 3 Reload is set to... Oh, wait a minute. I think Persona 3 Reload is out already in other places, but is coming out on Xbox and PC in 2024.
I'm double checking that.
In fact, I think it was called... I still think it's called Persona 3 Reload, if I'm not mistaken. This is the Uneducated Gamers part of the show.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Fact checking. No, it looks like Persona 3 Reload is not out yet on, as far as I can tell, any system. So that is new.
Okay.
Cool. That's great. Persona 3 getting a remake is going to be cool. Put it on par with Persona 5, I would think.
I hope so. Like Persona 3 was in my opinion the quintessential Persona game. I actually pretty much liked it better than Persona 5.
Interesting.
And I think a lot of it is just because PlayStation, like for the PlayStation 2, was a very revolutionary game at that time for that particular system.
Oh yeah, I bet it was.
We didn't see a lot of games like this on the PS2 era. So I think this is I think it's a good remake. It's a good time to do it, and it's a good generation to do it too.
What else we got here? Avowed receives its first gameplay trailer.
And Day 1 Game Pass.
Day 1 Game Pass.
Avowed looks like a very, very, very interesting game.
This was the Obsidian game, and it was billed as Obsidian's take on Skyrim. I'm actually really excited about this one.
What are some of the things that sort of piqued your interest about Avowed?
Well, it's
granted it's just a trailer, but
it's just a trailer, but I think exactly what I just said. Skyrim kind of getting a reimagining from a game studio that's a little bit better at actually writing an RPG. Bethesda's strengths typically lie in their world design. They lie in their ambitious ideas for mechanics. But they're not very good at writing engaging stories necessarily, or putting together a really good morality system, which is, even though that's what they're trying to do, they're not very good at it. Obsidian, on the other hand, bringing them in to work side by side with Bethesda in Fallout New Vegas was like, that's what made Fallout New Vegas like that good. So now getting to see Obsidian's take on a Skyrim style game, that has me really excited. I just want to see what they can do.
You know what's pretty sick about this game, or at least the way it feels? It's like Skyrim meets Fallout in all the best ways possible.
Skyrim meets what?
Fallout.
Oh, yeah.
In like all the best ways possible. It's kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, I think I do feel like even though it's just a trailer, we did see some gameplay-esque like features. I think the one thing that I find interesting though is, and I don't know if this is going to be a criticism or not, but I do think that the graphics feel dated.
They do, but I have a suspicion that that's intentional. I think it's trying to evoke, like I said, it's Obsidian wanted to do a Skyrim. This is kind of what the bill for this game was, and so they're trying to evoke that old style dungeon crawly adventure game.
Do you think Obsidian is just memeing on Bethesda these days with the games that they make?
You know, they did make Outer Wilds also.
Yeah.
Right around the same time that Fallout 4. Outer Worlds, yes. Yeah. Not Outer Wilds. Outer Worlds. They did Outer Worlds around the same time that Fallout 4 existed, and now they're doing this game. It's entirely possible that they're just memeing on Bethesda.
Which I think is freaking hilarious if that's true.
Yeah, of course it is. I'm going to be honest, though. When Microsoft first announced that they were buying ZeniMax, that was the first thought that went to my head was, now they own both. They own both Bethesda and Obsidian. And my mind goes to 5-10 years in the future when we can get another collab by those two studios. I want something else. And we'll talk about this a little later, but that's like the big hole. The one big complaint I have about the whole Starfield stuff is that Obsidian hasn't touched it.
Okay,
we can't talk about this yet, because if we start on this train, I won't shut up.
Yeah.
But
we'll put a pin in that, because I do have some thoughts on that, on a interview that Todd Howard did that I linked to you. I don't know if you got a chance.
I haven't watched it yet. Okay,
so I have some thoughts on that specific thing, but let's put a pin in that. We'll save that for our Starfield side of things. Let's quickly move to the next before we.
All right. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2.
Woohoo!
Day 1 Game Pass release.
Day 1 Game Pass.
This is a game I didn't play the first one yet. It's on my list because that game looks absolutely nuts. This, I think we mostly just saw cinematics again for this one.
No,
but
nope. No,
did we see some gameplay? I
guarantee you that the when she's walking around, that's all in engine. Because
is that all in engine?
It almost definitely is, because I played the first one.
Sure. The first one did look really good, like graphics wise.
Holy hell, that game scares the crap out of me. I have to turn the lights on to play that damn game. I'm telling you, because the atmosphere and the soundtrack, and I'm a stickler for that stuff. I really love the atmospheric sound part of the game. And
it's important to genuinely good horror.
I wear my surround sound headphones to play the game, and it's sound all. Oh my god, it's
Senua is a really good series.
It is an amazing series, and I'm so excited for 2. Been waiting for number 2. I didn't get to finish 1. I'm gonna spend some time playing it probably, but we've been waiting for this game for a long time.
Was the first one that old?
Yeah, it was 2016 is when.
Oh goodness, I didn't realize it was that old.
First one came out, I believe. Let me take a look.
Now here's a question for you.
Yeah.
If they ported it to the
2017
PSVR, would you play it?
Oh no.
I think I draw the line at horror games on VR. I don't think I could handle that. I think that would break me.
I couldn't do it. I
could play certain games. Like I could play like Dead Island. I could probably play Dead Space.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, I might have to change my pants a few times, but I could get through Dead Space. I don't think I could play Senua. I couldn't play Senua.
The atmosphere of this game I could not do in VR. I would literally no.
I would just die. I would collapse into a puddle of my own urine and feces.
But that's a testament to the game design of this game. Like this.
Oh yeah.
This is and don't I don't want anybody to think that that's a criticism. In my opinion, God, no! It's
a horror game. That's what it's trying to do.
Exactly, and I just cannot. I cannot say enough that I just cannot wait for this game, and that's why when we saw those scenes when she was like walking around and so on and so forth, I feel like that's in-game engine. In my opinion, I don't feel like that's just trailer. I don't think that's just fodder, I guess is what I'm saying.
Excellent. This game looks great. That's all I have to say about that.
And Ninja Theory, just like anything they do, they just knock it out of the park. And they take as much time as they need to just nail it.
Next up, I don't know if I have much to say about this, but there's another Forza Motorsport coming out.
Yeah, so this is so Turn 10 Studios, they kind of hit a miss with the first go round with Forza Motorsport. They've been doing these games for a while. It was the first flop, I'm going to be honest with you, I think from a community perspective. So them having the opportunity to take the reins on rebooting it, I think is good because, again, they're also starting over with this game, like from scratch. Like instead of reusing a lot of stuff, kind of what the GT series did with Gran Turismo at Sony Studios, where GT7 they finally decided it was time to start from scratch and go back to the drawing board from the beginning of how they created these games. I think that's a good move. And I'm excited. These are the kinds of games that I like when it comes to driving. I like the simulator style driving games. Like if I'm going to be in a racing game, I want something that's very high end, like simulated type of gameplay.
Yeah, my opinion on Forza is always the same. I'm not a gearhead. This doesn't particularly appeal to me, but I totally respect the fact that it's gorgeous to look at, beautiful to look at, and the car driver simulation is top notch. Not just from like a behind the wheel perspective, but like the garage where you have to go in and like tune every little nut and bolt in your car to maximize performance. Like it's hyper realistic from a mechanic, like a car mechanic perspective, and that's really cool for people who are into that.
Yeah. So I mainly left it in here as a highlight because this is one game that I am very excited for. The Horizon series it's fine. It's good for what it is. It's social racing online with people, right? Mm-hmm. And it looks cool. But I live for these games like Forza Motorsport, which is kind of that technical racing simulator, like you just described.
It's a lot more hardcore.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. Can't wait. And actually, when you come out I know you're not into it, but I think what I'd like to do is I'll show you and have you check out Horizon really quick. And it's,
Oh yeah. It's not that I'm not into racing games. I'm just not a gearhead, so I wouldn't buy it for myself and just play it all on my own all the time.
No,
But
fair enough.
If you had any old racing game pulled up and you handed me a controller and said let's go, I'm down. Of course I'm down.
But I want to like kind of suck you into the contrast of the difference of why something like this is way more exciting than like another Horizon game.
Sure,
I guess is what I'm getting
sure.
at.
Let's do it.
All right, so
Are we allowed to talk about this, or should we save this till the end?
So the next thing, this is what I'll say, and then we'll move on. I actually have something to say. This is one of the biggest reasons why I left it here. I think it's very silly that they decided to show a Starfield trailer
and then do a Starfield Direct.
Yeah. And I'm like, what? Just don't show the trailer. Just skip over it. Give everybody else the sun time, and you have your Direct later anyways.
Because any of the games that are shown off between the trailer and the Direct, nobody remembers them. They're like, oh, Starfield, I'm primed, let's go. Well, wait, hold on, we'll talk about it later. Oh, fuck you! Starfield! Oh, man.
It was a tease, and I was very unhappy. I was like, and my wife was sleeping next to me as I was watching this late at night. And I was like, don't do that. Don't do that to me.
This game has put me on such a roller coaster of emotions.
Well, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
All right. We will talk about Starfield. Is there anything you want to mention specifically now? For context for anyone who's listening, I think we're going to break this out. We're going to do a second episode specifically about the Starfield Direct. I have many notes, many things I want to say.
Well, I think we're going to do a separate episode, but I think after we kind of roll through these ones, we should at least give a Starfield teaser of some of the items that we liked about what we've seen in the Direct. But
we do need to talk about it some here. That's why I want to say, what would you like to bring up now? Since we've got it, we're on that point.
So let's leave the Starfield fodder for the end.
Oh, okay, all right.
And then let's just move.
Just like Xbox did.
Yes. We're gonna just tease it out.
All right, I could hear people fast forwarding.
Oh.
All right, so on from Starfield to the next conversational. People have wildly different opinions about it. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty DLC.
Bring it on, baby. Bring it on. I'm excited.
I saw people super hyped about this. I saw people mad about it. Like, people just want to hate Cyberpunk. They just want to discount it. They want to punish it for existing.
People just want to be stirrers sometimes.
They just want to be mad. I get it. But you said that this game has actually tightened up a lot since launch, right?
It has, and it is in my opinion, in a tremendously good state comparative to when it launched.
Okay.
And I think that the DLC has unfortunately taken too long, but it's as a result of the work they've put into the game to essentially, quote unquote, fix it.
Yeah. I don't care about work being delayed to make sure it's right. Right.
And we've talked about that multiple times on multiple levels with different games across the industry. But I do think that people have still been stuck to this. We didn't get any free DLC. And that's where Phantom Liberty is. People are scoffing at because it's paid DLC.
Why would it be free?
Well, they promised free DLC, right?
Oh, did they? Okay.
Well,
okay.
it was part of the roadmap. But what happened here was, and they just augmented their updates to include new things and new items and new content as they were fixing the game. So then that way, like they had to do something to introduce new things while fixing the game. I think what people just unfortunately feel slighted about is they didn't receive that sort of quote-unquote free DLC when really it's just been mixed into everything else. But you know what? Look, that's semantics in my opinion. People can be upset about it, and that's fine. I can't help that.
I understand being frustrated that certain games take a predatory approach to monetization.
Sure.
There's absolutely, there's validity there to be mad about. Loot boxes are bad. Whatever EA is doing, it's probably bad. Charging for new update content that's like an all-in-one separate experience, it took a lot of work to put together.
Yeah.
Like, they have to keep, if they don't keep an income, a cash flow income, then the game just stops being supported.
Right. Especially, first person, first player, one player games, right?
Yeah. Single player games don't really get to cash in on like multiplayer skins and whatever have you.
Right. So I'm actually, as a Cyberpunk 2077 enthusiast, I really enjoy the game for what it is and what it has evolved to. I actually really enjoy playing it on PC, but I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to the fact that Johnny Silverhand is still around. They're not deterring away. So there was speculation previously that Johnny Silverhand was no longer going to be there. It was just going to be a whole different section of the game that really didn't kind of connect itself to everything else. But no, they stick with the narrative of the game and the storyline and everything that is part of what you are playing in Cyberpunk 2077. So I applaud that. I appreciate that, as well as adding a new character. A whole new area of Cyberpunk is being unlocked. The map in Cyberpunk is going to be unlocked. So ultimately, I think it's a win for everyone, even if it's a paid DLC. I don't really care. I'm for it. I'm ready. I can't wait till September so I can sink my teeth into it for sure.
It's a new story, a new whole, complete, cohesive expansion for what was already a large game that requires a lot of development time. I don't know who in their right mind thought that this was going to be a free thing. Like,
yeah.
Bug patches, obviously free. Adding some new items over time, maybe even like new sections of the game over time, I could see being free. But big standalone story mission DLCs like this, it's you're just gonna have to pay for it. I'm sorry, that's been the way that video games have always been.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too that it was never defined, so people feel a little slighted that it was never defined what DLC meant as far as free DLC, right?
And I get it. That's definitely a communication problem. That's a CD Projekt Red mistake. They fumbled that. Fair enough.
But I don't think CD Projekt Red, from a business perspective, expected the storm that ensued after release. So
no, they gave you this roadmap, and then they had to change their plans for the roadmap.
Right. So I think, again, clean slate. Let's just get beyond it. I think it's a good thing. I'm happy about it. I think a lot of people are happy about it. See you in September. I'm gonna play it for sure.
Looks good. I think that's it for the games we pulled up. Oh no, we got one left. We got one more. First party exclusive, Clockwork Revolution. going to be released day one on Game Pass.
Day one Game Pass. This game, dude.
This game looks good. This looks. We talked about, what did we talk about the other day? The spell weaving FPS that we were comparing to BioShock.
Oh yes.
This is definitely an evolution of BioShock. This is a steampunk BioShock Infinite style political game, and it looks fantastic.
On the PlayStation Showcase was Immortals of Avium.
Yes, and that would be compared to BioShock because of
Yeah.
the way that they were doing spell weaving.
Yes.
It's definitely more of like a Doom 2016 inspired game or Doom Eternal styled game.
Yeah.
But mechanically, it was similar to what BioShock was attempting.
Yes.
This is more similar to what BioShock was attempting in philosophy and art style and aesthetic.
Yeah, and it's again like the way that it's described, right? It's an RPG with steampunk inspired retro futuristic flair. Like it's like BioShock on a stick, but I think in new generation skin, right? Like I think a new take on it, new mechanics. I think overall the makers of this game, right? Wasteland, the Wasteland series. These guys, they I don't know if you ever played Wasteland, but the Wasteland series is nothing to scoff at, right? And I think they have a propensity to really bring out the best of the genres that they work in, and I'm all for it, man. This is one of those developers that you also don't hear a ton about, but because they don't release a massive amount of games, right? They're not this like studio that just like rips out things here and there, two times, three times in every 5 years, right? They take their time, they work on it, they do their thing, and I mean, I'm excited for it. I'm excited because of the quality that I know in Exile does.
And that's all I really have to say about that. That's all I have to say about that. Mama said life is like a box of chocolates.
One of the last things that they had in this direct that was not, it wasn't a video game that they sort of discussed, but it was the release of a new Xbox Series S model, and with an upgraded hard drive. And we've talked about this before, right? These consoles really need to step up their game in hard drive space. When we talk about these cloud only or download or digital only systems,
because the Series S is the one that's diskless, right? It doesn't have a disk drive.
Exactly.
Okay.
So here's a question for you: is 1 terabyte really an upgrade? I mean,
is it an upgrade? Yes, it's a 100% upgrade, literally 100% bigger than what they already had. But I watched them showing this off, and they're like, 1 terabyte of storage, and I thought to myself, wait, they didn't already have that? Are you serious? It's 2023. You didn't have a terabyte of storage on your diskless console there.
Right. Like it's. I mean, it was only 512 gigabytes since release.
It's a travesty, but I could understand only having 512 on the Series X that has a disk drive, because you're expecting your user to use the disk for the majority of storage space, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the diskless version, like, they're installing everything. It is what it is.
I think the biggest thing and the biggest disappointment is how expensive the NVMe drives are these days, right? And I almost feel like these console makers need to do two things. One, they have to enable the ability to add on your own external NVMe drive in some fashion to expand the system, which they don't unlock. That's not a capability today. Number two, if they're going to stick with proprietary hard drives, then develop your own proprietary storage system that is built directly into the board, that is not a socket-based storage solution, and it's like embedded into the architecture of the system, that you can then say, I'm going to have a 2 terabyte embedded hard drive in there. I mean, yes, okay. Can I not crack open the system and replace it in an NVMe drive? I can. But why do I want to? What's that?
You were going to say, why would I want to? I was saying you probably should.
But the question, but here's the problem, right? Is most consumers are not going to do that.
No. The target audience for consoles are, I'm not going to say they're not going to be technologically literate enough to do that, but they're definitely not ambitious technologically enough to do it.
Correct.
It's not the market that buys consoles.
Because think about it this way. Me and you probably can find other uses for that hard drive taking it out of the system.
Yeah.
Most of your normal consumers don't.
I still have that box of 4 terabyte drives sitting in the server cabinet that I got to find a use for.
Oh, yeah. But, that's where I think things like, embedded storage on a board, just do it. Why not? Who cares? It's cheaper.
Another thing they would have to design, and design is expensive.
Design is expensive, but so is the cost and overhead of buying somebody else's technology.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
So
I don't know. So it's no secret that there's a whole global political charade going on regarding silicon resources and silicon manufacturing, right? How much of the inability for consoles to get decent storage is just due to the fact that they just straight up can't get the silicon? They can't make their own because they can't get the materials, and there's only enough materials to go around that you don't have to shop around in China for.
Yeah. I guess so. I mean, maybe I just suck it up. I know, my PS4, I upgraded the hard drive to a 4 terabyte hard drive back in the day, right? I didn't
Hard
do
drives are different. Hard drives are different than NVMe or SSD storage, right? Because it's a metal platter as opposed to an array of silicone memory chips.
I just think the storage part of these systems needs to get better. I don't think.
Yes, it does.
I don't think a terabyte is enough. That's all I'm saying.
It's not.
I know it's an upgrade, and to your point, yes, it is a 100% upgrade from what it is today. But I still don't consider it an upgrade. I still think it as it's like this is the best we can do kind of thing.
It's the best we can do, and I honestly think a lot of it has to do with the fact that 90% of the world's silicon comes out of TSMC in Taiwan, and Taiwan has a gun to the back of their head to not, to give all their stuff to China or else. It is what it is.
All right, Starfield. We're going to spend a little bit of time on this little ditty called Starfield. And let me
Starfield Direct.
Let me paint this picture a little bit and kind of really go down sort of the path of some of the things that we have learned about Starfield. First, I'm going to leave out any of my personal opinions about Starfield because this is not what this little bit right here is about. But I think some of the interesting things that we saw with this direct, right, is one, they say that there's over 1,000 planets within the Starfield ecosystem. which I'm going to be honest with you is very, very reminiscent of No Man's Sky.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Where have we heard this before?
Now, I think it's interesting, though, that there are the take on this game, as we have learned, is very much of the Bethesda fabric, right? And that is, you're going to have quests. You're going to have this kind of living narrative that games like No Man's Sky don't really have, right? It's No Man's Sky is more of an exploration kind of game, whereas Starfield,
sandboxy.
Yeah, and Starfield is kind of leaning into the Bethesda fabric of this is a world, this is a galaxy that you're living in. But an interesting takeaway is one of the things that was kind of brushed over, but I think it's an important brush that you need to paint, is they say, like, while every planet won't be filled with, like, a bunch of quests and different things, there will be barren lands that are just essentially resource driven. And that is an interesting perspective and very Bethesda as well. So we'll see with that, though, because you can read too much into it and then kind of get caught in the rabbit hole. So we won't go there right now. But here's some of the other things, right? I think one of the things they're talking about is, like, some of the gunfighting in, like, space is, like, got that, like, zero gravity mechanic to it, which I think seems kind of cool if that's realistic. And it's supposed to be, quote unquote, scientifically accurate, right? Additionally, they've already announced expansions for this game, which I think is...
Oh, that I didn't know.
Which I think is already quite ambitious when the game hasn't even essentially been shown off officially. Sorry, not shown off. Hasn't really been, like, fully announced. Like, we've announced... There has been an announcement of all these different things about the game. But one of the things that I think is missing from this is, what are you actually doing? What is your story's POV? What is the POV of your story, your character, and everything else?
Yep.
And so those are some interesting pieces that I think is very interesting. Mechanics and items and areas of the game that I would like to also highlight and talk about. Starfield, I think the space part really leans into, like, the Star Wars / Star Trek feel to it from a cinematic perspective, which I think is really cool. I'm excited about that. I do think them saying that New Atlantis is the biggest city they've ever created, that to me seems very interesting, considering some of the things that they've done with Fallout. NPCs are made up of scientists, ex-pirates, space cowboys, and yada, yada, yada. So a very wide, diverse amount of NPCs, which I think is cool. You can refactor your ship to however you want. So, like, there was an area where somebody made Optimus Prime as what the ship
Kerbal
looked like.
Space Program.
It's pretty cool. And, you know, you have your warp drives, and, you know, so again, very more Star Trek-ish. You have a robot companion, similar to Fallout 4.
Similar to Fallout New Vegas.
Similar to New Vegas, yeah. Their character creator seems very vast, which I think I would not expect anything different from Bethesda games. And one of the most interesting highlights they talked about that I was quite curious on, and that's the lighting in the game is going to be globally and real time like adapted to the planet that you're on. So like the light is going to somehow be very scientifically adaptive everywhere.
They talk specifically about light, gravity, and day-night cycle.
Yeah, which they got very technical, which I think is interesting. But
the gravity's not hard to do from like an engine perspective. It's cool that they're doing it.
Sure.
I love the idea, and not just like, oh, there's Earth gravity and then there's space gravity, which is zero grav. No, they made it sound like they're doing variable gravity based on the size of the planet, which is super cool. But the thing that really stood out to me was the lighting engine.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine how much resource that takes.
And so before we start getting into some of our own personal opinions and thoughts and perspectives, I'm curious to, out of everything that I've just mentioned, are there things that I missed that you picked up on as far as, you know, factoids of what we've seen?
So, okay. I'm trying really, really, really hard not to just go off the deep end, because I want to save this for when we properly deep dive into this, because I will talk forever about this game. Long story short, this direct blew me away. Up to this point, I saw, you know, the bits and pieces we'd seen about Starfield. I'm like, oh, this is going to be reskinned Fallout 4. It's going to be fine. Move on. I had Fallout 76 really soured me on Bethesda. Fallout 4 was a disappointment. Fallout 76 was a travesty, and I had pretty much kind of lost faith in Bethesda's developers. Then I really sat down and watched this direct, and I was shocked by this whole thing. And I'm really worried by that, actually. I'm worried by how good this looks.
But hold on.
I didn't answer your question. I just started ranting. I'm sorry.
Before we get to opinions, like, so here's some other technical things that I also want to bring up, because I think these are some important things about the game, and I think leans into some of your opinions, right? But we'll get to that. First off, like, ship customization it's insane. First off, there are different types of damage, right? You have laser damage, ballistic damage, missile damage that you have to repair separately in different ways.
The thing I wanted to mention, because I don't think you did, is they have ship customization, so you can build your ship.
Yeah.
And you build it and you customize it. It looks like Forza Motorsport, maybe not quite to that level, but it was pretty in-depth customization. And then it acts as a functional ship. Like, you fly the object, you walk around inside it, your crew walks around inside it. Like, it just becomes a functional object, which is really impressive. And I thought that was going to be the replacement for the Fallout 4 settlement system, which was ambitious but flawed. But turns out they also have a settlement system in this game. If you notice, they have two separate builder systems. They have one for ships and one for what they're calling outposts.
Yeah,
the planets for resource gathering and whatever have you.
Yeah, the outposts, you know, is man. I think that's another piece that I missed. Right, like that. One of the most interesting things about this game is the fact of the amount of work, the amount of information that they have sort of packed into this from a technical perspective, I think is incredible.
This game is massive. Massive. Just massive.
By the way,
if they do it correctly.
Massive. Day 1 Game Pass.
Yeah, and it's coming out September.
September. September. This game's coming out. Like, what?
Now, this is a Bethesda game, right? So I have to imagine, especially at the sheer, insane, crazy size and scope of this game, that day 1, it's going to be just a complete nightmare, bug-wise. Like, it's gonna fall apart under its own weight, and it probably won't actually be truly playable for about a month or two.
All right. So, here's the time that we're going to give a preview of our opinions, our thoughts, our perspectives on the Starfield Direct that we got. And what I would like to do here is stay focused on some individual personal perspectives. And I think what we do is I would like to start out with like some of our negative perspectives, our concerns or our thoughts.
Sure.
And let's then end the second half of this with some of the positive things and things that we're excited about.
Okay.
So, Mike, I'm going to have you start first because I know you have a lot of pent-up information going on, flowing through your body. But I would like to really kind of lean in and kind of just, what is some of the most concerning things that you got out of the Direct?
I want this so badly to be the game that restores my faith in Bethesda.
I agree with you. I really do agree with you. And I went into this Direct with kind of one of the things that we said most recently. And we thought, is this just going to be another Fallout 4 reskinned in space?
And we'll get to that. I think that is a big concern of mine, or at least it was a big concern of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I no longer think that's the case. I think that this game is far too ambitious. It's got far too many moving pieces. It's got so much going on that there's no possible way that it can just be reskinned Fallout 4 just out of sheer magnitude.
Well, I mean, it is a new engine, right?
It is. They rewrote the engine for this, right? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not Fallout 4's engine.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is brand new engine.
Okay. So there's
First
no
game.
fucking Morrowind code in this.
Well, I don't know.
Well, there could be. We don't know.
But technically speaking, as far as we understand, brand new engine, brand new like mechanics, so on and so forth.
Now, with that comes a big fear of mine, in that they got too ambitious, and it's going to collapse under its own weight. Because I saw this Direct, and I saw, this is No Man's Sky. This is direct from No Man's Sky's playbook. That's what they're pulling in. This is Star Wars Dogfighter. This is just space combat. I've seen this before. This is Mass Effect Star Map Warp Travel. Okay, so we're pulling in Mass Effect. I got here. Over here, there's just like this is like 7 individual games stitched together in some sort of Frankenstein's monster. It's enormous and terrifying. And it could so easily go wrong if any one of those things doesn't work. But if they actually nail every part of this thing, this game has the potential to completely redefine RPG style gaming for this generation, for the next however many generations. People have talked about, this is next gen gaming or whatever, and all I really see most of the time is fancy graphics. So it's HD 4K. No, this is next gen gaming. This is an entirely different beast than anything we've seen before, and that's terrifying.
So yeah, and I think here's something that I'm also concerned about is so Starfield is the first game on Creation Engine 2, right? So this new engine, this is the first game, right? So it's untested, it's unproven, right? Like they've tested it internally, right? But real world application has not been tried, true, tested at this point. We knew what we were getting out of the creation engine from Fallout 4, from Fallout 76, from, Skyrim. Like, we knew what we were getting. We knew how to deal with that, right?
We knew it was broken up to all hell.
Right. And let's be fair too. Creation Engine is not the only engine in the world that has had issues. Unreal 4 had issues, right? So I think Snowdrop has had issues in the past, right? Like in their versions when Massive Entertainment was working with that, like with Division 1 to Division 2, it's vastly improved because they've upgraded the engine. So I guess what I'm getting at is, I think with a brand new, and as far as I'm aware, my understanding is Creation Engine 2 is not an upgraded version of the Creation Engine. It is a new, from the ground up engine, just named Creation Engine 2. So it's not an iteration of the previous engine. It's built, though, off of the basis. And that's what I'm kind of concerned about, because if you think about this, right, is when new engines come out, do we truly know if they're fully battle tested or not?
There's no way to fully battle test them without many games being released using those engines. Because there's, especially with something of this scope, again, it's the magnitude of the whole thing that's got me concerned. There's going to be bugs that we won't find for a decade.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is truly my concern here, right? Is Starfield actually the first game that they should be putting on this engine? Should that have been Fallout 76 instead of...
No. Boo, Wendy Testerberger.
But you know what I'm saying? If you're gonna battle test it with a game that honestly they just rushed the crap out of it anyways.
Battle tested on a game that doesn't have this much writing on it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if the engine is designed to handle a game of this scope, what else do you do with it? This is what you do with it. You don't build something this big unless you're putting that something this big onto it.
The next Skyrim. The next Elder Scrolls.
Well, yeah, we saw, what's it called? Obsidian did it.
No.
Avowed, yeah. Avowed.
Oh man.
Elden Ring? Is that what you're talking about?
Elden Ring, yes, Elden Ring.
Yeah. From Software did the next Skyrim.
No.
Obsidian's doing the next Skyrim.
Wait, not Elden
this is
Ring.
not meant for Skyrim.
No, Skyrim, the next Skyrim. What is that? Elder Scrolls 6.
I still think that's too small scope of a game for an engine this enormous.
No, but what I'm saying is why not do it smaller scale? Because the scope of this game, it's too massive in my opinion to put on a new engine that's unproven.
Yeah. You're right. All right.
I mean, that's all I'm saying is I'm not saying that it's not worthy for an engine like this. All I'm saying is battle test it. Do something.
Elder Scrolls 6, Fallout 6, do those, then do Starfield.
Because here's the thought, right? Here's my thought is from Skyrim, there's only upwards from that if you're using an engine like this. There's not a backwards. There can't be. Unless the engine is shit, then you shouldn't be doing Starfield on it. You see what I'm saying, though, right? So battle test it with a Skyrim, and then do Starfield, or battle test it with Fallout 6, and release Skyrim. But I think Elder Scrolls 6 is more likely than Fallout 6 because Fallout 76 they're still. But anyways. We're still arriving at the fact that Starfield is coming out before any of those. And the engine part of it is a little scary to me because of the scope of this game. I also think that, in my opinion, some of their So they are doing way too much at once. Honestly, they could have decided to go scale down and then do DLC add-on later for ship customization, for this, for that.
Like Destiny did.
Yeah.
Destiny is a galaxy-spanning game that they keep adding stuff to. They've added entire planets to through DLC.
So those are kind of my biggest concerns, that it's just too much, too fast on a brand new engine.
It feels like No Man's Sky situation. Now, No Man's Sky was a nobody, indie developer of like 3 people, 4 people.
It was like 12, I think.
Was it that many? Still, though.
Yeah.
Bethesda is an established, successful company, and they have that sweet, sweet Microsoft money now. So,
and not just money though. You then have them at the table for,
you got manpower, you got rendering,
creative direction, help in that way, like marketing, how to actually release a product. Like Microsoft, you could be as negative as you want about Microsoft, but
they know what they're doing.
You can't take away the fact that they know how to market their stuff.
Speaking of, do we want to talk about that stupid smartwatch?
No, let's save that for the deep dive.
Okay.
Let's save that for the deep dive. Same thing, but
no one's gonna get it. When they do, it's gonna be made of burlap.
I am I am excited about the controller, though. I really am excited by the Xbox controller.
I mean, it's just a generic Xbox controller with a cool faceplate. Like, there's no way they can mess that up.
No, it's not actually. So the on the button configurations, they give you like the visual cues on what the buttons do.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So just go a little above and beyond.
Yeah. So different buttons will do different things, and it'll tell you on the controller mapping, meaning on the graphics of it, and embeds it almost like a HUD, if you will.
Sure.
On the controller printing, which I think is really cool. I like.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I guess I didn't fully understand that's what that was.
Yeah. Before we move on to positive, any other negative things you would like to bring up before we move on to the positive?
Nothing that isn't going to send me into 20 minutes of discussion.
Okay. All right.
No Obsidian. I think that's it. I think that's the biggest thing is grand scale, lots and lots and lots of things about world design, lots and lots of things about mechanics that they're trying to all do at once. What's the story? What's the character development? Is it going to be complete shallowness like Fallout 4 was? And realistically, like Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Fallout 3 was a bit shallow at times. Fallout 4 was absolutely shallow. New Vegas was really fantastic because Obsidian was involved, because Obsidian knows how to do that specific thing really well. And you said there's some sort of overlap that I'm unaware of at the moment, but that is a worry for me, that throughout all this development, the actual like story and character NPC interaction is going to be arse.
So I would agree if I didn't have any competency with the Microsoft group to step in and to tell them that it's not good.
And Microsoft owns Obsidian. Like, they could absolutely consult.
Sure. But so here's the thing where I'm going, though, is from an NPC perspective, is Microsoft is not new to AAA gaming, right? And so one of the things that the I forget his name, but the Microsoft guy, right?
Bill Spencer?
Yeah, thank you.
Phil Spencer.
Phil Spencer. Yeah. So essentially speaking, right? he's called out that, the Bethesda guys are on it, the Microsoft guys are on it from a QA testing perspective. There are tons of people. It's not just Bethesda that is working on this game. It is a Microsoft Studios with Bethesda at the helm running this, but everybody is a part of this. And so that gives me some comfort to say I don't really have a worry so much about the NPCs at this point, because I feel like if something's bad, somebody's going to call it out. That's not Bethesda, if you know what I'm saying. You kind of get me.
Yeah, I follow.
But getting back to what you started with this comment about, right, is no Obsidian. What I think, actually, is Microsoft...
2-minute warning.
Microsoft wanted to battle test Bethesda on their own IP to carry that through. And something that in that interview that I provided you with Todd Howard, something interesting piqued my interest about the Fallout 6 conversation is he didn't even deny that the fact that he may not be working on Fallout 6.
Oh. Like ever?
Right. Because his next game is Elder Scrolls 6.
Sure. That we've known.
So, with that said, Obsidian, that conversation, is Obsidian with Bethesda making Fallout 6 with Todd Howard not part of it.
Oh, man. I mean, I don't know if I like the idea of Todd Howard necessarily being pulled out, but another Fallout project with Obsidian support is exactly what I would love to see. I want that so bad.
I actually think it's a good thing if Todd Howard is stage left on this one, because it'll get done sooner. Otherwise, we will be waiting like 15 years for another Fallout, like Fallout 6.
That's fair. That's fair.
Right? So, what I actually think's going to be what's happening in the background here is Microsoft is trying to set up Bethesda to stand on their own finally, with their own IP, and set up Fallout to be more of a collaboration of studios with Obsidian and Bethesda again, and get back to that Fallout New Vegas days. That is what I think is going to happen.
I would be ecstatic if that turns out to be true.
That said, nothing has been said to that extent. I'm just reading between some of the lines. With that said also, let's move on to some of the positives. What are some positive takes that you have sort of extrapolated from the top, bubbling to the top, that you saw on this direct?
There's a couple of things that really stand out to me. One is the shipbuilding system just looks fantastic. I love it. I love how customizable it is. I love how in-depth it is. I love the crew system, asterisk, because we don't know everything about that yet, and I have some thoughts. But it's a really cool idea. I'm glad it's there. The other thing that really catches my eye is the almost D&D like character creation, where you've got class and background and lots of ways to customize yourself up front that I really hope is not just different ways of affecting your combat. But there's backgrounds and classes in there that make me think there's going to be more to do in this game than just shoot things, and that's what I want to see. Well,
so okay, to add on to that, right, and where I think that they have introduced concepts that is not just battle, is the fact that they talked about, so when you enter a planet, like when you go planetary entrance, right? You know, the people, people who will clear you for landing will scan your ship and will know who you are, right? And they said, right, your faction or your historical alignment could impact your capability of getting on that planet peacefully.
Yeah,
dude, that's some pretty baller stuff.
It is. There was one of the guys in the direct specifically said that he had an experience in the game where the only reason he was allowed into an area is because he happened to have the same religious background.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Like, to that degree, to that nth of detail, if that is correctly pulled off as they've described it, that's baller.
And kind of in that same vein, they've made it kind of clear up front that theology is kind of a main thread in this game, which is it's a difficult subject, so you don't see it very often in video games. So it's an interesting artistic direction that I hope that they handle really well, because you just don't see it very often. It's unique.
You know what's even more unique, and something that you don't see, that I think that Todd Howard in that interview. You got to watch that Todd Howard interview before our deep dive. But seriously, like, one of the things that he called out in that interview that I thought was interesting, that you do not see in games almost ever. He said, he's like, yeah, I got into this battle fight, and then we were on the ground, with a firefight on the ground or whatever, and he found himself getting into their ship by accident and taking off and going into space in their ship.
Functional piracy is in this game.
Like, what? Like, what other game allows you to do that? Without doing a transaction to take possession of said vehicle or ship. I don't know of any other games that actually functionally allow you to do that.
Yep.
Like, dude, I just, look, man, I think there's so much to unpack here. There's so much good stuff to talk about. There's so much to hit that we're going to have to do another episode.
We have to.
But if you had to tell the audience on all of the negative things that we have talked about Bethesda, if you can encapsulate this in a few sentences, what has this direct done for your perspective of what's to come potentially from Bethesda, Starfield, and potentially more games going forward?
This game has single-handedly rekindled my interest in Bethesda as a game developer. And I think that there's a lot riding on this game. If it flops, it might be too detrimental for Bethesda to honestly come back from. I'm going to say that. But if it succeeds, it's going to put them at the top. It's going to put them at the top, and it's going to keep them at the top for a long time. They're going to set a new paradigm for video gaming. It's going to be truly next-gen video games, not just next-gen graphics, next-gen gaming, if they can pull this off. And with Microsoft behind them, I think there's a real possibility they can do it. Maybe, honestly, not necessarily with this version of Starfield. Like we said, Microsoft wasn't involved from day one. We think maybe they've gone a little too quickly, bit off a little more than they can chew. But if it's at least successful, it's still going to create a new paradigm for gaming. And we can be guaranteed that Starfield 2 will be wild.
So now I guess I have a second question for you now that you ended on that. What if Starfield became not a sequel-like game, and what if it's more or less a living thing that expands over time?
like GTA Online kind of thing.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. That would allow them to work on the world and just polish everything. Like we talked about earlier, one of our concerns is that there's going to be bugs. And with something this big, there's going to be lots of bugs. And there's going to be bugs we won't see for a long time because it's going to take too long to find them. So if they choose to just make this a living project for 10 years like GTA Online has been, there's a lot. There's a lot you could add to this. It's gonna be big. Destiny's big, but it's not this big. But it's gonna be that same kind of thing where there's gonna be new planets, new events, new factions.
I predict that Starfield is, not to pull a pun, but Starfield is it's the next voyage into video gaming. It's the next thing that can prove the opportunity to create a game that is expandable, extendable, and continuously can be a living, breathing item that you can sell additional packs on top of that to extend the life of the game, as well as, to your point, adding that polish. Bethesda is not against, nor have they ever been negative about the modding community. And so that's where I think there are...
Oh, I didn't even think about modding potential in this game.
Tremendous amount of capability that Bethesda, in partnership with Microsoft, with the modding community and the expansive tool set that this game brings, I don't think we ever see a Starfield 2. I think we just see the next iteration of Starfield from a universe perspective.
Hell, Skyrim's still around 12 years later. This game is exponentially larger than Skyrim could ever have hoped to be.
Exactly. And it could get boundlessly even more expansive, considering that it's a space game.
This was something that I thought about too. Despite the fact that this is a single player game, what I'm kind of thinking eventually it's going to morph into is about as close as possible to an EVE Online situation that you can probably get with a Bethesda game.
Yeah, I honestly, and I know, let's wrap this here, and I'm going to cap us here now in this last few minutes. But what I'm going to say here is that, think about this, right? No Man's Sky. Currently, probably one of the longest running, both hybrid single player and multiplayer experiences with a procedural, universe type game. Presumably and perceivably, Starfield is following the footsteps of No Man's Sky. Who's to say that they don't add a multiplayer element to Starfield where your crew is your friends? Think about that for a moment. That is actually quite interesting if you don't get caught up in the fact that your crew as friends doesn't really drive story, but it's still something that people probably would love to do.
Oh god, yeah. EVE Online is such a cool social experiment of a game, where it's pure raw, unfettered capitalism. The game, and it's amazing. Like, if there's a ship battle between major players in EVE Online, millions of dollars of real world money is lost. Like, imagine if something like that grows out of Starfield. And Microsoft has the server banks to support something of that size. Azure exists, you know? From your procedurally generated No Man's Sky relation, What is Microsoft doing? They're trying to integrate ChatGPT AI into their systems. They've already got it being experimented on in Bing search bar and Bing communications.
Yep.
That's the next generation of gaming, is AI integration.
So you go back to procedural, AI, as well as multiplayer. Again, this game, there's no reason to come out with a second one.
I will say, I don't know that this, seeing what I've seen so far, I don't know that this incarnation of Skyrim is ready for something like AI to be. Like, you can't just, like,
you could
tape it on.
No,
you kind of have to build around it.
Sure, but I mean, any engine can be extendable, right? So
sure.
I guess my point here, right, is if you think about AI as in AI from a storytelling perspective, you can easily incorporate that, right? And so that's where I think if we really like peel back that onion to the core and think in the future of like the next 10 years. As we start getting into this deep dive in the next few episodes of this conversation, I really, really, really feel that getting back to if Starfield, it's like the balance, right? Is if Starfield is that game, if it's the it factor of the game.
Big if.
But if, right? And Starfield then has that following, the scales balance and say, okay, let's start dumping that money. Let's start doing that. Let's start feeding that engine. There's no reason that they can't do that. And there's no reason why they couldn't just continue on with what they are doing.
Mm-hmm. Here's where I think that you can't just continue horizontally expanding forever with that, though. I think a decade from now, if this game ends up as big and as important to game development as I am suspecting it might be, and it's successful, and Microsoft greenlights development on it, I think we'll see horizontal expansion of this game in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Like you said. But then, 10 years, when that 10 years is up, I still think we'll see a Starfield 2. And that Starfield 2 will be built with these new technologies in mind from the ground up. I expect that generation of gaming to see things like planets entirely designed and created artificially. Instead of having designers come in and say, we made this species of animal that lives on this planet. No, we have no idea what's on these planets because they were entirely spawned by an artificial creation system.
Thank you for listening to our latest episode. You can comment on this and other episodes at galaxygametv.com. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitch for additional gaming content. Also, if you want to support our show or Galaxy Game TV, check out our Patreon for exclusive content and great giveaways to our supporters. Until next time, we bid you farewell.